Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to talk about Classic Who, specifically the 4th Doctor era, but more also Classic Doctor Who as a whole, just as these past 3 or 4 years I've really been able to fill in more of my Classic Who knowledge. I mean, I've seen a lot of Classic Who because I've been watching it since I was like 3 or 4 years old in the 80s, and I'd seen a lot of it even before then, but I've really been able to plug in some holes with the box sets coming out and picking up DVDs and the animations coming out. For a lot of Doctors I was less familiar with, at least having seen story-wise. For instance, the animations, of course, have allowed me to see a lot more of Troughton, but I have also watched some of his live-action surviving stuff I'd never seen. I watched the Crotons, I think for the first time in 2020. I watched the Dominators and the Mind Robber for the first time last year in 2021. But I've also been able to see animations, with Macroterra and Faceless Ones and Fury and Evil of the Daleks, and of course Power of the Daleks when that came out a few years ago. So it's really been nice seeing more of Troughton, to where Troughton has really shot up my Doctor list. He's one of my favorites. And I've seen more of Hartnell, between different things. One of my subscribers, Steve, sent me a couple First Doctor stories that I've got to watch. And then I bought a couple myself. I was able to pick up the Beginnings box set, and while I'd seen An Unearthly Child and the Daleks before, it had been a long time, so it was nice to refresh myself on those, and it was nice to watch Edge of Destruction for the first time. I really liked the ending of it. So slowly expanding my First Doctor knowledge. It's really been nice with Pertwee, because Pertwee's been one of my favorite Doctors since I was little, so to fill in more of that with the collection sets coming, which I'd already seen all of Season 10. It's funny that Season 10 was his first box set, when that was the only one I actually had every story of. Only season of his I had every story of on DVD already. That's the way that goes. But Season 8 was a really nice treat for me, because I had only seen Terror of the Autons a long time ago, and Colony in Space, because Colony in Space was the only Season 8 story I had on DVD. I had never seen Mind of Evil. I had never seen the Daemons, and I had never seen Claws of Axos. So it's been really nice filling those gaps in. But really, I'm really looking forward to the Season 22 box set, because I've only seen half of it, and then the other half that I have seen, I haven't seen in a while, so it'll be nice to get a refresher on those and to see the other three for the first time. But what's really surprised me is how much, like, the 7th Doctor and 4th Doctor's eras I've narrowed down. I'd already seen most of Tom Baker's anyway, but famously, before I got Season 17, Tom Baker only had 3 stories I'd never seen before. But 2 of those were from Season 17, Nightmare of Eden and Creature from the Pit. And I've seen those now and reviewed those and enjoyed those, actually. So it's interesting for me to only have one Tom Baker story left that I haven't seen. From his TV run, not counting his plethora of Big Finish stuff he's been doing the past decade or so. But from his original 74 to 81 run, to only have one story I haven't seen yet. That's an interesting accomplishment to be at. Because none of the classic Doctors have I seen all of their stories. Sylvester McCoy is at the same place now, where he's only got one story I haven't seen. Because Season 24, I had only seen half of it. I'd seen Dragonfire and Time, but when the box set came out, I finally got to watch Paradise Towers, which most of you know I loved, and Delta and the Bannermen, which, not so great, for the first time, but it was nice being able to watch them both. And so the only one I haven't seen from the 7th Doctor is the Happiness Patrol. So I only have one story left, and I will have seen all of McCoy's run, and I only have one story left, and I will have seen all of the 4th Doctor's run. And the story I haven't seen from him is The Invisible Enemy, K9's introduction story. I've never seen it from Season 15. So it's interesting, having never seen all of the classic Doctor's stories in their original run, to be at this point where I only have one new one to go. Because I've always loved the fact that I have a story left for a Doctor I can see for the first time. I always love that, because it's such a joy watching a Doctor Who story for the first time, and that joy you get out of the surprise, the wondering what's going on. I really like that even when I was watching Creature from the Pit, when the Andrasta got killed so early in Part 4, which surprised me. I'm like, How are they going to feel the rest of this episode? Is the creature actually good? Is it bad? Is it what it says it is? I didn't know, and I loved that sense of wonder, and I thoroughly enjoyed the 4th episode of that story. And find the story itself underrated. And same thing with Nightmare on Eden, where I didn't know what was going to happen. So knowing, it's kind of sad that I only have one more Tom Baker story I can watch where I don't quite know what's going to happen. And then I've seen them all. And that's interesting. I mean, it's nice to have seen so much of the run, but it's sad that I'm not going to be able to have that surprise for much longer. Luckily, there's still a lot of First Doctor stuff, some Second Doctor stuff, some Third Doctor stuff, Fifth Doctor stuff, and for the moment, 6th Doctor stuff, because once I get the season 22 box set, I'll be able to watch all of Colin's run. Although I need to listen to more of his Big Finish, apparently. I really want to get The Last Adventure. That's the Big Finish story that I'm really on right now, is The Last Adventure that I really want to see. Because I have Jubilee, and I really liked it. And then I've also, digitally, I own Spare Parts, and I just finished it. So Last Adventure is kind of the one I want. I want that limited edition box set, but I don't want to spend the money on it. Somebody send me that in a P.O. box. But yeah, it's just really neat. As someone who's watched Doctor Who for so long, I mean, since the 80s, but I've never completed Classic Who, I love still having these stories I can see for the first time. It's nice growing my knowledge. I've really enjoyed learning more about the First Doctor over the past couple years, because I've had a lot of First Doctor stories. I'd only seen like 7 or 8 First Doctor stories just, a year and a half ago, and I think I've seen like 12 of them now, because I have watched some other new ones. And I've rewatched some of the ones I really like The Ark and The Reign of Terror recently, because I love both of those. But having watched the Gunfighters for the first time, and then having seen like the War Machines for the first time a few months ago, it's been really nice learning more about the First Doctor, especially Hartnell's First Doctor. Because my very first experience with the First Doctor was the 5 Doctors. So my first Doctor was Richard Hurndall. And I like Richard, by the way, for the record. I really like Richard a lot. I feel like Richard's Doctor acts more like the First Doctor than Bradley's Doctor does in Twice Upon a Time, to be honest. But although I enjoyed seeing Bradley back in Twice Upon a Time, because I like Twice Upon a Time too, even if they don't get the First Doctor right in it, I still enjoy his performance in it. So that's been really neat. Moving along there, because the Third Doctor, I've still got some stories I haven't seen yet. I need to finish Time Monster, because Time Monster only got about an episode or 2 through. I've never seen The Mutants. And then season 11 especially, I really need to see, because I've only seen 2 of the 5 stories from it. I've seen Death to the Daleks and Planet of the Spiders. I've never seen The Time Warrior. I know, right? Sarah Jane's First Adventure, my favorite companion, The Time Warrior. I've never seen it. I've never seen Invasion of the Dinosaurs, which everybody tells me is a great story. Bad effects, great story. And I've never seen Monsters of Peladon, which I hear is not great, but I know some people who like it. And then, of course, Troughton's still got stuff I haven't seen. The Highlanders, obviously. I've never watched Underwater Menace, because I heard just how bad that DVD release and reconstruction was. I heard it's so awful. I've never bothered. I'm waiting for a special edition of it. Never seen the Space Pirates, obviously, with most of it missing. And I feel like there's another one I'm forgetting. Wheel in Space. I've never seen Wheel in Space. Or Abominable Snowmen. I'll be rectifying that when that animation drops. I do have the steelbook for Abominable Snowmen ordered. So still working on that as well. And then, of course, the First Doctor, I have a long way to go. But the 5th Doctor, I've still got several. I don't remember. I've seen all of season 19, obviously. Season 20 I've only seen part of. Season 21 I've only seen part of. For some reason I don't remember all of his as well. Arc of Infinity is very underrated, by the way. So I still have some more 5th Doctor stuff to watch. But yeah, with McCoy it's just Happiness Patrol, and with Tom Baker it's just The Invisible Enemy. That's all I have left. That's kind of humbling. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to discuss that. I know it's a little random, just kind of out there, but I just kind of wanted to talk about that, and as a Doctor Who fan, what it's like kind of slowly narrowing down the stories you have left to see. And as you see more stories, the pool of stories that are left that you haven't seen and will get to watch for the first time gets smaller and smaller, and that's kind of sad, actually. It's kind of sad. It's like a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, a happy thing and a sad thing at the same time. So that's just kind of my random thoughts on that. Other things to do, click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me that way. A link to my Patreon is in the description below. I have a P.O. box as well. If there's anything you would like to send me to help me fill in my Classic Who library and gaps in my head, you can send it to that P.O. box below. I also have an Amazon wish list of stuff I'm excited to get. If you would like to send me anything off that, a link to that is in the description below. I want to give a special shout out to two of my top tier patrons, the 5th Doctor and Stephen Crane. I really appreciate their support and the support of all of my patrons. But most importantly, I just want to say thank you for watching.